I'm getting to the point now where it's almost like I'm seeing restaurants are gross. So I'm not happy about restaurants anymore. I can't enjoy restaurants. It's not just because I have two young kids. That's not it. It's more that maybe I've just outgrown the fascination of it. You know, as far as me having my fitness journey and knowing that it's so much of it is about me controlling my calories and what I'm actually eating. But in a restaurant, what are they cooking the food in? Well, I only use coconut oil to cook in. I use olive oil in my salad, but I only use coconut oil. Well, I have to assume they're using some kind of inflammatory oil that I wouldn't cook with, and they're using more than I would. I use just enough oil to cook the food. So that's one thing I can't control. But also, when you look at who's making your food at restaurants, it's typically people who are being paid minimum wage. Do they really care about their job? It's funny because there's a billboard near where I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's like Cracker Barrel, and it says, "Our secret ingredient is love." And I overanalyze that for sure. When I look at it, I'm thinking, what do they really mean by that? They're meaning that the people that work at Cracker Barrel care more about their job making minimum wage than other restaurants like Chili's or whatever? I guess that's what they're saying. To be fair, I think they're kind of right. I mean, because Cracker Barrel is about one of the only places I'll still even be excited to go to. There's a great variety of menu items. A lot of them work with my lifestyle. And the people working there seem to be genuinely happy, more so than other chain restaurants. So maybe they're right. Maybe their secret ingredient really is love, as they say on the billboard. But ultimately, I'm putting my health and fitness in the hands of other people when I pay. So hey, yeah, so it costs more money to eat at a restaurant. I don't know who's making my food. I don't know how they're preparing it. I don't necessarily have the control over the calories and the protein like I normally would. I have to show up at the restaurant. I have to pay, in addition to pay for it, I have to do the math. I have to figure out a tip. And it's a more typical, bigger amount of time for my day to go to a restaurant and sit there for that meal. Whereas here at my house, funny thing is, it's not that I don't cook, but a lot of my stuff, there's not much to it. Like, if it's salmon, okay, how long does that take to cook? Not very long, you know. Can of tuna, right there, eggs. But most of the stuff, it's just very basic protein stuff anyway. But I think I've just outgrown being excited about restaurants. I mean, it's one thing if my wife and I go out alone to a nice restaurant to celebrate some occasion, then I can enjoy it. But for most of the time, it's just a very unattractive thing to the thought of going to a restaurant. I'd rather have control over what I eat. I'd rather spend more money on better quality ingredients from the store and know exactly what my food is than paying a lot more money and having to drive somewhere and spend a bigger amount of time. And especially, like I said, if there's kids around, it's even more stressful too. So it's like, I think I've outgrown restaurants. I think I've become, I don't hate anything, I don't suppose, but it's almost like I really, really don't like restaurants. Like I've learned in recent times, they actually trigger me. Like, my wife turned 40 recently. We went to the restaurant with kids, and while we were there, I couldn't enjoy that time because we were at a restaurant, and I'm not relaxed when I'm at a restaurant. I can be relaxed when I'm making my own food. Let's say it has something to do with my control personality. Maybe it does. But I'm over restaurants. I'm not excited by the thought of that. I'm more excited by going to the grocery store, getting something fancier and cooking it myself and having pride in that. Maybe I'm alone in that principle. Could anybody out there agree? Your comments belong right here.